It's a movement that's gaining traction across the world, and today the fight continues here in the Northwest.
A small group gathered along the highway in Plat First Nation as part of the Idle No More response to proposed legislation by the federal government. The protests are in support of Indigenous rights to consultation and the ongoing hunger strike by Chief Teresa Spence. Jordan Mullaney has the story.
The peaceful protest began in the early morning and will stretch until the sunset as members of Plat First Nation joined in on the First Nation demonstrations happening across the country. Community members lined Highway 17, standing up for Aboriginal treaty rights and the rights of Indigenous peoples around the world.
We are standing in solidarity with all our brothers across the country and around the world. We believe that we were the original people here on this land in Canada, what is now known as Canada. And these treaties were made with our people on equal terms. And those treaties are not being honored. They should be honored as a nation-nation basis. But now we're being shoved under the background as an interest group, and we are not an interest group.
Now on day 18 of her hunger strike, Attawapiskat Chief Teresa Spence continues her efforts for a meeting with the Prime Minister. And with each passing day without a response, the Idle No More movement continues to advance.
If something happens to that woman, that chief, there's going to be more solidarity. It's going to encourage other Native people to come out and protest even more in greater numbers. This is not going to go away. This is going to keep on going, and it's going to grow.
I actually participated in a rally in Los Angeles last week. There was a small group of us, and you see it all over the world. There's rallies occurring in the Ukraine. There's rallies occurring in Australia. There's rallies occurring all over the world, and it's becoming a sovereign Indigenous movement, and it's more than just Indigenous peoples in Canada. It's Indigenous peoples globally who are standing in solidarity, so it's really great to see.
Landry calls Bill C-45 an assimilative legislation, which she says doesn't allow free prior informed consent, which Canada as a nation has agreed to.
And without any recognition or consent by Indigenous peoples, with changes pertaining to the Indian Act, it shows how disrespectful it is and how much they're disrespecting our treaty rights as Indigenous peoples in Canada. The relationship right now is very, very not a very good relationship at all, and you see this continuing when the consent isn't made.
Jordan Mullaney, TBT News.